Welcome back to GA Fan TV. It is the live Watchalong Kerry versus Armagh in the National Football League Round 4. Here, as always, of course, do one of these Watchalongs once per week. And Kerry versus Armagh is the game we're going with this weekend, as you would have seen, obviously, with this stream. So, yeah, very excited for the game. Looking forward to the game. Obviously, two footballing mad counties, make no mistake about that, and a huge game, no doubt about it, because Kerry need a one win from their opening three matches. Armagh most definitely need to get themselves a second win of the season and their first win since the opening weekend of the season as well. So absolutely vital for both counties, make no mistake about that. Just run through some team news, which we'll get on the screen in just a brief moment. I do know Stefan Cumber was a late change who's come into the side there. But this was the side originally named from a Kerry perspective. So Shane Ryan is the man between the sticks there. You've got Graham O'Sullivan, Jason Foley, and Tom O'Sullivan in the half-back line, in the full back line, I should say. Half-back line is Pat Warren, Tyg Morley, and Paul Murphy. Midfield, Jack Barry and Barry Dan O'Sullivan. Half forward line is Darragh Moynihan, Sean O'Shea, and Adrian Spillane. And the full forward line is Paddy Clifford, David Clifford, and Dara Roach. So, look, Kerry going pretty strong there. It must be said from a Kerry perspective. David Clifford obviously making the start. Sean O'Shea making the start, of course, as well. Paddy Clifford starting. So Kerry certainly do mean business. Make no question about it. Very, very strong Kerry starting team. And, look, after that defeat last week, like it was a heavy defeat. And it's probably fair to say that, there's been question marks over Kerry's squad depth in terms of players standing up on the big occasion. So they've gone with, they've brought the big guns right back in. And probably, rightly so from a Kerry perspective. Looking at the Armagh team then, so this is the Armagh side that's been named. Ethan Rafferty in goal, Paddy Burns, Aidan Forker, and Conor O'Neill in the full-back line. The half-back line is Greg McCabe, Barry McCambridge, and Aaron McCoy. And we've got Kieran Mackin and Charlie O'Burns in midfield, Callum McCuskey, Andrew Murnan, and Tiernan Kelly in the half-forward line. And the full-forward line, Rian O'Neill, Stephen Campbell, and Jason Duffy. So, just about 1 or 2 minutes away now from the throw-in. Very, very exciting stuff indeed. We've got the score on the screen there. Not the usual kind of score graphic that I was using for the past couple of weeks. For some reason it's not working for me there. So we'll just have to go with the old sort of score graphic I used to use last year. But nonetheless, we've got the score on the screen there. I'll update you lads as the game goes on. And of course, I'll try and give a best breakdown of the game from a fan perspective. Let me know your predictions in the comments. I think I said in the stream, in the preview stream during the week, that I do fancy Kerry to get the victory. And you know what? I think I'll go with. I'm just going to get an L score prediction on the screen here. I think I'll go with something like this: Kerry 115, Armagh 13. I think that's the score prediction I'll go with. I think Armagh will be solid enough defensively to keep out too many goal threats. I think Kerry will, they'll probably start quite strong. I think build up a bit of a lead, and then Armagh will eat into the lead as it goes on. And I suspect that a lot of work will be done on the training ground from Kerry defensively, who of course were cut, to shreds at last week. Armagh or Mayo just absolutely ripped through them time and time again. Jordan Flynn causing havoc, Aidan O'Shea doing his bits, James Carr in great form. But I think when you look at Kerry last year, strong defensively, 2 goals conceded in both league and championship. So they're going to be back at it today. They're going to be back at it, in my opinion, and that's why I do think they'll resist any goal threats from a Armagh perspective. Dara says the game's delayed 10 minutes. So thanks very much for letting me know. I'd actually no idea. There I was rushing to get this stream started there, and panicking and everything else. But here we are. Look, we can chill. We can relax. There we go. 10 minutes to go. Wonder, does it say, obviously I'm not listening to the commentary, so does it say why it's delayed? I'd imagine it's probably got to do with the fact that there's so many fans, in Tralee, Kerry, Armagh, two football and mad counties, and Armagh have definitely brought the support. So I'd imagine maybe there's a bit of a delay probably in supporters getting into the ground. Hopefully everything's okay there, but I'd imagine that's probably what the delay is. But be curious to know what your opinions are, what you've heard. And it's a massive, massive match, no doubt about it, for both sides. It'll be interesting to see Armagh sort of if they can kick long into Rian O'Neill. We've seen Aidan O'Shea sort of do damage when Mayo were going quite direct and they were getting sort of direct ball into that full forward line. So it'll be interesting to see what whether Armagh can do similar and whether they can cause damage. That'll certainly be interesting to see, make no question about it. Just gonna have a look and see what other games have taken place today, or what is going on. Waterford, of course, playing Wexford earlier today. Wexford leading 1-8 to 1-3 there, so that's a 5-point lead for themselves there, of course, at the moment. Antrim and Fermanagh, of course, played early on, and that was a big win in the end by Fermanagh. But once again, Antrim, pushing Fermanagh, and another late Sean Quigley goal in that game as well. Absolutely madness there. Crazy game from what I've heard. 3 goals for Antrim, 3-9 they finished with. Fermanagh finishing with 2-13. So very, very impressive stuff there from a Fermanagh perspective. 3 wins out of 4 now for Blula tongue twister there for Fermanagh. Jesus, wow, impressive stuff, and they're firmly in the promotion race. It has to be said. And even from an Antrim perspective, like, they've been very, very competitive in their opening couple of games. So I think that that will give them a lot of positives, I think, in my opinion. Anyone who's watching the stream, let me know your comments, or let me know your thoughts on what way this game will go. As I said before, I think Kerry will grind out a 5-point win in the end. I suspect they'll start strong. I suspect they'll really get after Armagh early on, because especially after how slow Kerry started last week, I think they'll want to right the wrongs. And really, like, you nearly look at it and think this really is when Kerry's season is going to start, in my opinion. But yeah, and from an Armagh, look, Armagh will certainly do Kerry damage. I think Armagh will do Kerry damage. I think they will cause problems. Kerry haven't been brilliant, and if Armagh can exploit Kerry early on, there certainly could be problems there from a Kingdom perspective. But yeah, just looking at some late changes there. Like, Stefan O'Cumber seems to be a late change there from a Kerry perspective. Not too sure who he's come in for. Think he might have come in for Pa Warren, but just looking at it on the Score BO app, but not entirely sure. And from an Armagh perspective, there doesn't seem to be any late changes at all from their side. So it looks like Armagh going with their strongest starting 15. The game, of course, was due to start at 5, but there has been a delay there. So game should be starting in about 4 or 5 minutes time, hopefully, and we can get cracking into the action. But we'll have to wait and see whether the game does start at 5 o'clock. Hopefully it does start at 5 o'clock. Will be interesting to see that midfield, like, just looking at the sides again there as well. Stefan O'Cumber, of course, coming in. Is he going to play in midfield, or will they keep to the usual midfield of Jack Barry and Barry Dan O'Sullivan? So, I mean, midfield battle will be interesting. Just looking at the teams there as well. You could have probably Tom O'Sullivan picking up Rian O'Neill in terms of matchups if you're to look at where both players are playing respectively. But Rian O'Neill, as we know, it tends to drift sort of further in field a lot of the time, and early plays, drops really sort of deeper almost into midfield at times, almost playing a bit of a Michael Murphy role. So be interesting to see if they do put someone like Tom O'Sullivan on him, or is that what Stefan O'Cumber is in for? Because you see his physicality that he brings to the Kerry table. So it'll be interesting to see maybe if he's the man to pick up Rian O'Neill. Of course, there are other threats on that Armagh side as well. I mean, Jason Duffy, I thought, had a very good game the last day. A couple of points early, like against Roscommon, a couple of points early on. Thought he was causing a bit of damage. Stephen Campbell's always a tricky player. So it's gonna be an interesting matchup. So make no question about that. And even could it be a Jason Foley even that goes on Rian O'Neill? That'll be interesting. And looking at it from a Kerry perspective, of course, David Clifford starting at full forward. So Aidan Forker could be the man maybe to pick him up there. Very good in at fullback. He's had a couple of injury problems in the last couple of seasons, but generally speaking, he has been absolutely solid. Is the man, Aidan Forker. So it will be interesting to see how that goes. The referee, James Malloy of Galway, both sides just getting ready for national anthems and everything else. So we should be about to throw in now in the next couple of moments. Just a reminder of my prediction. I'm going to go a Kerry 115, Armagh 13 points, 5-point victory. I'm not too sure if I've ever got one of these score predictions right, so certainly do not hang your hat on this prediction, folks. But that is what I am going to go for right there. And we'll see. Could certainly be more goals, certainly could be more drama, but we will obviously have to wait and see. National anthems and everything else. Just looking at it there in Austin Stack Park, it looks like a full packed stadium. In Fitzgerald Stadium, actually, I should say. Pardon me, but completely full. Like all the supporters are there. It looks like there's not a seat in the house in Tralee, I believe it's on. So yeah, look, you can see both sets of supporters are there. The Armagh fans have definitely brought their numbers. They brought their supporters, and Kerry, as we very well know, especially at home, very, very well supported county. So yeah, in terms of a man of the match prediction, I mean, I wasn't planning on doing a man of the match prediction, but obviously we've been waiting here for a little bit longer than expected. So I'm kind of trying to fill the time in between. But yeah, I mean, you'd look at David Clifford, wouldn't you, as the obvious candidate there, in terms of a man of the match. You'd expect him to do a lot of damage. I mean, as he always does, but someone like a Jack Barry in midfield, Paul Murphy maybe bombing up sort of down the wing, Sean O'Shea as well. And obviously from an Armagh perspective, you're looking at the usual candidates of Rian O'Neill. But it will be interesting to see how they hold up defensively, of course, as well. Like looking at the likes of Conor O'Neill playing at fullback, Aidan Forker, Aaron McCoy in at wing back as well. So certainly there's going to be a lot of interesting matchups, and it will be very, very curious indeed to see who does get that man of the match. Anyone who is tuning in, if you could hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, would be much appreciated. Do plenty of watch-alongs just like this one. We usually do 1 or 2 per weekend, and obviously Kerry Armagh, in my opinion, probably the biggest game of the weekend. So that's why I've chosen to do the watch-along for this one. Of course, Mayo and Tyrone on a little bit later. That'll be a huge, huge match. When you look at, where Mayo are currently at, and obviously Tyrone are kind of maybe in a similar position to Kerry here, where they really need to get the ball rolling and start, putting a consistent run of results together. Absolutely huge from a Tyrone perspective when you think about it. But yeah, just getting ready here now for the throw-in. We've got Barry Dan O'Sullivan in the throw-in in there as well. Rian O'Neill, who normally does go in the throw-in, but I think he's sort of lingering back just a little bit there as we get the ball rolling. Gavin says, God, it's a proper band doing the anthem. Yeah, I was looking at that there. I was wondering what's going on, but Armagh straight away, almost in behind there, but Kerry just about do the dirty work, and Stefan O'Cumber, maybe playing as a bit of a sweeper, just about gets it away, but it started at a frantic pace, and here comes Dara Moynihan racing at the Armagh defence. Armagh have plenty of men back. You've got Rian O'Neill doing a bit of defensive work, trying to intercept Sean O'Shea. Armagh trying to run in behind, trying to do the dirty work, and nearly succeeding. Nearly succeeding. Just looking at it there, as I suppose as Gavin was saying, they're definitely a bit of a funny scenario with the band. But look, you gotta be creative, I suppose. You gotta be creative in whatever way you can. But yeah, no score so far here, just a minute in. Armagh with that long ball in, opening, trying to create an opportunity. Kerry going something similar. Tom O'Sullivan going direct. Ethan Rafferty there punches it out ahead of David Clifford. And Armagh now going on the counter-attack with Jason Duffy. Plays it into Rian O'Neill. Trying to get up the other end. Stephen Campbell now on the ball. It started at a frantic pace, but no one scored just yet. And Stephen Campbell's effort there going well wide of the target. And Shane Ryan as well, happy to try and keep that one in. He could have let it go. It was a little bit of a risky play there from Shane Ryan, because he could have easily mishandled that and let it go out for a 45 then. But I suppose it prevents the restart from the kick out. So Kerry now in possession. 2 minutes on the board so far. Just one late change from a Kerry perspective. That was Stefan O'Cumber, who came in. Tom O'Sullivan on the ball now. Kerry trying to work an opening into Dara Moynihan, but Armagh again very well set up there defensively, and that's a big turnover there from Burns in a cornerback. Good bit of play there from an Armagh perspective. That's 2 turnovers now actually in around their sort of full back line. Do you know what? I'm actually going to just get a bit of light on the subject here, because we're a little bit dark. We're a little bit in the L darkness there, so hopefully that's a bit better. But here we go then. Armagh back on the ball again with Greg McCabe. Frantic pace early on, but no score in the opening 2 to 3 minutes. Armagh now trying to go down the other end, but it's a bit of a overhit pass there from Aaron McCoy, and Kerry can just let that one go adrift. I think it will count as the first wide in the game. Certainly is a big match. I mean, they were saying in commentary on the build-up there when I was listening, just 6 weeks until the start of the championship. So, like, when you really put that into perspective, the championship is not that far away at all. And, yeah, like, there's, Kerry need to kick into gear. I mean, Armagh probably need to kick into gear, to a certain extent as well, because they, haven't really, set the world alight either. But in saying that, Kerry at home, with the home advantage, with the crowd probably behind them, you would surely expect them to hopefully kick on and win this, especially if you're a Kerry fan. Just keeping the ball here at the moment, playing it into Sean O'Shea. Armagh looking for another turnover. This time there is a challenge that comes in. That is a foul. And the foul was actually on Adrian Spillane there. So I haven't seen much of David Clifford yet. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he is out there. You'd imagine him to be probably stand over this. We'll see what's quite going on there. He definitely is out there. So he's standing over this free David Clifford. You'd expect him to pop this one over, and he sure as hell does. Lovely score there from David Clifford. Kerry get the first point of the game. Wonderfully taken point there from David Clifford, and Kerry get the opening score of the game. I suppose Armagh heavy in their challenges, heavy in their tackling. They won 2 turnovers in around sort of Kerry's half forward line, but on the third occasion they give away a foul, and Kerry win the kick out. They've started fast here, Kerry. They mean business. And David Clifford now picking up the ball. Plays it into Darragh Moynihan. He's got Aaron McCoy just following him quite closely. Adrian Spillane now trying to make something happen, but that's a good bit of defensive work again from Armagh, who in fairness have done well with that. They haven't really offered much in attack so far, but we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Campbell and Rian O'Neill doing a lot of defensive work so far. You can see how Armagh are trying to go about this game. Could the loser of this potentially be in trouble, says Gavin. Yeah, I suppose Armagh have 3 points on the board, but it could be where, it definitely could be. You look at Kerry's quality, and even if they were to lose this, it's just, they have enough quality to win their final 3 games even after this. But Kerry going into the final game, they don't want to be in a relegation battle because they're cutting it so close to the championship. You want to at least rack up, have survival wrapped up, and then looking further up ahead of the table rather than what's behind them realistically. But it could be, whoever does lose, especially with other results, it definitely could be a case that Kerry could be looking over their shoulder. Kerry on the ball, just being calm in possession. Paul Murphy playing it in there into Darragh Moynihan, but Armagh with another turnover. They've done well defensively, in fairness. Kerry, that was a bit of an overhit pass. Ethan Rafferty's actually off his line there as well. Definitely a foul. Kerry hit it quickly. No score so far from Armagh. They've only really had one effort on goal as well, which I suppose was prevented going wide by Shane Ryan, but it technically was a wide. It was definitely going well wide of the target from Stephen Campbell. Kerry mean in business, and there's an effort. That's wide of the target though. Well wide there from the Kerry midfielder, Barry Dan O'Sullivan. Just 1 point after 7 minutes so far. Heavy enough challenges coming in there on Andrew Murnan. I think the ref has called a foul in Armagh. He certainly has. So it will be Burns who will come away with it. In fairness to Armagh, Kerry have had a lot of possession in the opening 8 minutes and, have got themselves into good positions. But, they are only a point down without really doing that much themselves going forward. But we'll see here now as they go on the attack, and there's an effort that looks to be trickling slightly over the bar and is over the bar. Armagh with their first point of the game, and it is Charlie O'Burns who gets on the score sheet. Man who we had on the podcast once before earlier in the year, that did an interview with him if anyone wants to go and check that one out. But he gets Armagh's first point of the game. Named in midfield, which is interesting. And that was a really, really fine score from him there. And in fairness, considering Armagh have had to soak up a lot of the possession so far, they'll be very, very happy indeed to get that opening score of the game. And it was a really, really fine score indeed. Sean O'Shea playing it into Darragh Moynihan. Stephen O'Cumber drifting further up the field as well. And here they come, the Kingdom. Calm in possession. No immediate rush from a Kerry perspective here, as they have Toig Morley in possession, plays it into Darragh Moynihan. Rian O'Neill trying to get the challenge in Armagh, getting 1 or 2 men there on the ball. Looks like over carrying there, possibly from Darren Moynihan, or has he called a foul? I'm not entirely sure what he's given. Certainly didn't look like, was it too many steps? I think he has it. I think he has his hand being pulled back there, so that should be a free for Kerry, and it certainly is. So Sean O'Shea will have a chance here, standing over on his right peg. Slightly difficult angle and conditions. Look clear enough, in fairness, but you would expect Sean O'Shea, man of his quality, to slot this one over the bar, but he drops it short. Straight into the hands of Ethan Rafferty. Definitely got the right accuracy on the shot. Looked like it was sailing over, but just dropped short at the final moment. So Kerry shooting, just letting them down a little bit, as it did, of course, in the opening game, or in the game last week versus Mayo. Kerry were very sluggish in terms of their shooting, and 10 minutes in here so far, and you'd have to say that Kerry have just had one or two difficulties maybe in terms of their shooting, but they certainly are, getting the majority of the ball. Armagh, say possession so far probably be 70% in favour of Kerry. As they go direct in there into David Clifford, judges the bounce brilliantly, plays it into Barry Dan O'Sullivan. This is good, quick interchange play from Kerry. They might work a chance maybe for a goal opportunity, but they do slot it over the bar. That's brilliant play there from the All-Ireland champions. And Kerry move back in front, and it is their first point of play. A lovely bit of interchange play there. Paddy Clifford doing brilliant. David Clifford involved. And the ball eventually works itself inside into Dara Roach, who, could have maybe went for goal there. But in fairness, the safe option was definitely to take the point, especially at this early stage. Lovely catch there from Jack Barry from the kick out. Goes long. Good bit of work there from Charlie O'Burns. Then gets pulled down by Paddy Clifford. Kerry give away the foul there, I suppose, way up the field, but they start fast. They've started, they look hungry, Kerry. They have that desire. They want to get back to where they feel they belong after a disappointing defeat so far. And Armagh are just struggling a little bit, and Kerry now have picked out the ball in a good bit of possession here. This might be a chance for another score. It should be another score, and it certainly is. And it's Paddy Clifford who slots it over. Bit of space worked inside there. Looked like Dara Roach picked up the ball in a dangerous area and then pops it into Paddy Clifford, who, as calm as you like, slots that one over the bar. 3 points to 1. And I suppose the scoreboard now more so reflecting how this game has gone. As Kerry have been very, very dominant so far in terms of possession, winning kickouts in around the middle with Jack Barry, and Kerry looking strong. Kieran Donaghy watching on as an Armagh man, of course, now. A part of Armagh's backroom team, of course, on home soil, according to him, or I suppose for him, with the fact he's obviously a Kerry legend. True and true. Charlie O'Burns winning that kick out from Ethan Rafferty. So Armagh have the ball. They've only created 2 scoring opportunities in the game so far, Armagh. I mean, there was an effort from Stephen Campbell that went well wide of the target. And of course, Charlie O'Burns' effort that went over the bar. So Armagh, they'll be a little bit disappointed with, I suppose, falling adrift. But of course, very much still an even game after about 14 minutes on the clock. People who are watching, let me know your opinions, your comments on the game so far. Not too much to report, really, but it has been frantic and pacey, as you would expect between these two. Armagh working the ball out wide into Burns. Looked like he was being dragged back there by one of the Kerry defenders, who's been dragged back by Tyg Morley. Sean O'Shea, little pull of the wrist there as well. So this will be an opportunity for, you'd imagine, Rian O'Neill standing over this one with the opportunity to slot this one over the bar and get his first score of the game. It's been an interesting game so far. And you would expect it to be fairly even contest in fairness. And Rian O'Neill standing over it with that usual stance that he often operates. Slots it. Looks like it just about crept over in the end. So good point there from Rian O'Neill. His first point of the game. And Armagh move back to a point. Armagh happy to concede the short kick out, which will suit Kerry down to the ground. And Kerry kicking it in there into that full back line, keeping possession, calm in possession, as always. Looking at Kerry's score so far, Darragh Roche, David Clifford and Paudie Clifford all with the score so far. David Clifford's point coming from play, and just looking at the possession statistics on RT, 64% for Kerry so far. So, no surprises there. Kerry have been very, very dominant in terms of possession, where Armagh have been, sitting deep, trying to absorb that pressure, and I suppose hit the Kingdom on the counter-attack. And in fairness to Armagh, they have been, they've got a couple of turnovers in there. They've got a couple of defensive blocks. And there is only a point in it. And I think Armagh will be happy enough so far with that after 16 minutes. Here come Kerry with Tom O'Sullivan. And hits it with the outside of his boot there, well wide of the target. Probably didn't really need to go for that. Probably the better option was to absorb possession, keep the ball. Very much a low percentage shot there, you'd have to say, from a Kingdom perspective. And now Armagh win the kick out. That was a brilliant bit of work there from Andrew Murnan. And now a direct ball going inside into Jason Duffy, but well caught there from Shane Ryan. Right idea though, because Jason Duffy was 1v1 inside there. And if it had been just a little bit of a better ball, Armagh might have had a chance. Bit of a Hail Mary pass played into Stefano Cumber. He's got 3 men around him there, hanging on to the ball. What's the referee going to give here? I think he's going to give the foul to Stefano Cumber in the end. Big man there, able to absorb all those hits and challenges. He was getting plenty of hits and challenges, but he absorbed it very, very well. And now we go into a Kerry free, I believe it is here now. 3 points to 2, 1 point advantage so far for the Kingdom. 17 minutes played. Of course, this match delayed by 10 minutes as well. So we would have been, approaching the halfway mark or half-time mark at this stage, but not quite the case. Kerry get ran out over the sideline, but they do have the ball. David Clifford with a bit of a loose pass there into Paudie Clifford, and it allowed Armagh just to get a couple of blocks in and get the turnover. Nowhere really to go there from the Armagh centre-back. But it's feisty so far. Plenty of heavy hits, heavy challenges being directed in. It's been a fiercely contested match between the two sides who you would expect to be very much contending the All-Ireland at some point this year. It was David Clifford with a sideline ball played into Paudie Clifford. Andrew Murnan intercepts it, but eventually lose the ball there. And I'm not too sure what the ref is going to give here. He might give possibly a hot ball, but we'll have to wait and see. 3 points to 2. Kerry, I'd say the better side so far, in my opinion. They've, they've had better possession, I think. They've looked, livelier, create more chances, got in behind Armagh that bit more. But in saying that, it's that scoreboard that you're looking at right in front of me there that matters. And, Kerry are leading, but it's only a point. And, Armagh have been quick to move on the counter-attack. And you see that they're, once or twice they've gone direct with that long pass into Jason Duffy. And you'd imagine they'll do so again. Possibly if they get the opportunity on the ball here. Looked like maybe there might have been possibly over carrying there, but Armagh have the ball. Rian O'Neill goes direct again. Kerry leaving space, but nothing doing there. Not a particularly brilliant ball into Jason Duffy. And that's Armagh's third attempt at playing that direct long ball, and nothing really doing. Stefan O'Cumber, Armagh trying to press Kerry high up the pitch here. Kerry playing around it quite well, though. Jason Foley on the ball. Plays it in here now as Kerry have the possession. Paddy Clifford playing it in. Kerry just being calm in possession here. As we've seen, sort of, it's been a common theme really throughout this game. Kerry just keeping the ball for large parts. Trying to wait for that opening, trying to be calm. Here's Tom O'Sullivan, gets himself into a bit of a position. Of course, he was in this position a couple of moments ago and went for goal, and that was well wide of the target. And here they go, Kerry. Armagh very well set up, though, you'd have to say. A lot of men back there, nearly every man inside their own 45. Here's David Clifford. Offloads it in, chance for a point, and that is a point. Great score there. I think from Paul Murphy, I think, who got the final effort, and he did. Lovely bit of work, actually, from David Clifford to set Paul Murphy up. Great ball inside into the Kerry wing back. Paul Murphy slots it over the bar. Kerry moved 2 points clear. Back to a 2-point game again. And I would suspect that this is probably how this game is going to go for large parts. You know, Kerry will probably gradually move further in front as the game goes on. But you can see Armagh, they're trying to just stick with Kerry, try and live with them. You know, in Kerry, in their own backyard, with the fans behind them, and Kerry have looked at it so far. So I think the main thing from an Orkshire County perspective, just keep with the Kingdom, and try and stick with them. Lovely little dummy there from one of the Armagh players there, but here they go with Aaron McCoy breaking down the wing, plays it inside. Armagh trying to work an opening. I suppose it's their turn to have possession of the ball, and in fairness, this is probably one of the first times we've seen Armagh, keep the ball for a long period of time. Ethan Rafferty coming further up the field. We've got Aidan Forker now on the ball. Is he going for the score? He's gone direct inside, and looked like maybe there was a chance for a goal, but it does go over the bar. Good point in the end there from Aidan Forker. I'm not entirely sure if he actually went for the point or whether he was just trying to loop it into Jason Duffy. Or I think it might have been flicked on there. We'll see who that was by in a minute, but I think it was flicked on eventually, possibly by Tiernan Kelly, but it is 4 points to 3. Kerry now going down the other end, trying to make something of it outside of the boot effort. It's bending in, and it's absolutely cut short there. I was getting a bit too excited because I love a good outside of the boot effort, and that would have been a sensational point there from Tom O'Sullivan, but it dropped short. Looked like it was just going to bend in from Tom O'Sullivan, but it didn't do so. Armagh on the ball, but then lose it, and Ethan Rafferty's off his line here. But the interception just had a little bit too much on it, and Armagh now back on the ball. And this could be a big attack, actually, from an Armagh perspective, because when you think about it, they could end up drawing level here. Aidan Forker goes inside into Jason Duffy, but Kerry have done well there in terms of Jason Foley coming out with the ball. 24 minutes on the clock, 4 points to 3 in favour of the Kingdom. Both sides, I think, have done a good bit of defensive work so far. No real goal chances, you'd have to say. Armagh kind of had a half goal chance from the throw-in. Their sort of trademark. Rian O'Neill catching the ball, lofting it in deep, but nothing came of it in the end. Not even an attempt on goal. I think it was Jason Duffy who maybe had the opportunity, but 4 points to 3. I suppose a bit of a slow start, maybe. Yeah, some would say maybe not the greatest game, but I think a lot of these National League games have been like this sort of in the first half. And in fairness, I have been fairly entertained so far. It's been an enthralling match. That's a great bit of defensive work there again from Armagh. It must be their 4th or 5th turnover. This time around, Aidan Fork are doing there with a great bit of tackle, sort of running Kerry out over on the sideline. And Armagh have the possession again with Ethan Rafferty. Here comes Charlie Oak-Burns. Just coming forward, just waiting for a bit of support, looking for players around them. 1 point between the sides. For anyone who's tuning in, hit the like button, subscribe if you could. Be much appreciated. Plenty of watch-alongs on this channel. And yeah, much appreciated seeing people tuning in and everything else. Aaron McCoy on the ball. Ethan Rafferty trying to just absorb midfield. It's an interesting pass out wide, but nothing really doing of it. Caught well there by Adrian Spillane, who's doing a good bit of defensive work. Kerry now looking to hit on the counter-attack. Armagh getting another turnover. It's a bit of a scrappy game so far. Bit of a scrappy game. Turnovers on either side. Both sides at times playing loose passes. Very evenly contested. Darragh Moynihan there caught in possession. Aidan Forker's played well so far. And played into Cumiskey. Plays a ball into Rian O'Neill. This is his type of area. But I think that... Oh, it's over. Yeah, he's got it over. Good score there from Rian O'Neill. And Armagh have drawn level for the first time in the game since Kerry got the opening score. So 4 points apiece. Good score there from Rian O'Neill. Looked like it might have drifted wide there, but it did go. It did in fact go over. So for all Kerry's possession and for Kerry's sort of dominance, you could say, in terms of possession and in terms of chance creation, it is a level game. Armagh have been a little bit more clinical than Kerry so far, you would say. Kerry just a couple of wides. Tom O'Sullivan with 2 efforts that has dropped short. So Armagh will be happy enough with how this is going. Kerry now on the attack with Tom O'Sullivan. Zach says here, tuned in from London here, fella. Family from Armagh. Happy days, happy days. Hopefully you're enjoying and everything else. I suppose it is a bit expensive, isn't it, tuning into GA Go and all that crack. But yeah, 4 points apiece so far anyway. And I think Armagh will probably be the happier of the two, I'd say, so far. Just given the fact that I feel like Kerry have had to work harder. In the sense that they've done more without actually being in front. Whereas Armagh, it's just been a couple of quick breaks on the counter-attack. Tom O'Sullivan, though, is, he's getting into a lot of good positions, you would say. Hasn't scored so far in the game. 2 of his efforts have dropped short, but, he is getting himself into some good positions. And you can see Kerry are probably quite reliant on sort of, fullbacks and wingbacks getting forward. 28 minutes on the clock here, 4 points apiece. Here goes Paul Murphy with a direct run. Armagh have every man inside their own 45, even deeper, you would say, actually. It's very hard for Kerry to make a breakthrough. They're going for that sideline cut. Look like they might have got themselves into a bit of space there. Think the ref has called a foul here by the looks of things. It was outside the D, so it won't be a penalty or anything. Yeah, Sean O'Shea pull back there going through, so no question about it. And you'd expect Kerry to definitely put this one over, clear as day. I think he was pulled back there by Greg McCabe, I think it might have been. So yeah, Sean O'Shea standing over this. Just what, probably 8 or 9 yards in front of the goal there, maybe a little bit less. So he's going to put that over all day long, and he certainly does. 5 points to 4 in favour of the Kingdom. Back in front, Kerry have either led or been level in the game. Armagh haven't led at all in the match, and just approaching the 30th minute. Look, the Kingdom, Kerry will be, happy to be in front, and but I'm sure they'll want a bigger lead for how dominant they've been. They do win the kick out though. Great bit of work there by Paul Murphy. I think Kerry have won a good amount of Armagh's kickouts. Must be about 6 or 7. So they're certainly winning that battle. Stefano Cumber coming forward. Good to see Stefano Cumber out on the field as well, obviously. Very athletic player, and you can see it there as he runs forward. Of course, playing AFL, for a good couple of years, came back into the squad last year, but had a lot of injury issues, so didn't really get to feature. So I think the one sort of area of weakness you would say for Kerry down the years, well, obviously their defense has definitely been questioned, but I think it's fair to say they've tightened up quite a lot defensively last year. But midfield has been, midfield is definitely an area that I think Kerry could be exposed, especially with the fact that David Moran's obviously retired. So, but Stefano Cumber out there. And Kerry just keeping possession for large parts. They must have had the ball for about 1 or 2 minutes. Kerry very happy just to bide their time, wait for the opportunity. And again, they are finding the runners. They're finding the space. Armagh defensively set up here, but the referee does give over carry in there. It was Paul Murphy who ventured forward. Probably the right decision, actually, there, it must be said. Good bit of play there from Kerry. Just a bit of an overhit pass, and be interesting to see a closer angle on that, because it did look like maybe it could have been a foul, but stays at 5 points to 4. Ethan Rafferty now going forward. I'd say Armagh fans, he probably gives Armagh fans heart attacks at times. He's not, he loves running into danger, doesn't he? He's not like a Rory Beggan or even a Noel Morgan who tend to play it safe. I mean, Ethan Rafferty, he ventures forward and he just takes players on, and it's almost like you're playing FIFA with your mates when you start trying to dribble the pitch with your goalkeeper or something. It's kind of crazy, but he nearly loses the ball there. He gets brought down, so I think the ref is going to give a free here for an Armagh perspective, and possibly even a yellow card here as well, actually, for Barry Dan O'Sullivan, I think it is there. Probably is a bit of a pull down, maybe a bit of a harsh yellow in some ways, but you could say that he did actually stop it's actually Jack Barry. Apologies there, I'm mixing up the Kerry midfielders, but Jack Barry gets the yellow card, and Ethan Rafferty, I suppose, wins the foul in the end. So it all comes to good. So Rafferty's back down to between the sticks, and this is an opportunity here for Rian O'Neill standing over it. Getting ready for the opportunity here. Bit of a delay, not sure what for, but here we go. Plenty of Armagh men in around the square as well in case the ball drops short. Certainly within Rian O'Neill's remit, and he looks to have got it over the bar. Rian O'Neill, 3 points for him now in this game. 1 from play, 2 from place balls, and 5 points apiece. So, look, it's a level game. It's been a low-scoring game, you'd say, on the basis of this first half, considering we're about 2 minutes away from half-time. But Armagh have been, very well set up, and Kerry give away the possession there. It was an overhit pass into Paddy Clifford. Could be a big moment here for Armagh, because Kerry have got a few too many men forward, and that was a little bit clumsy, actually, from Kerry. They venture forward here, Armagh, and it would be quite the story if Armagh went in front, considering, Kerry have, I don't know if I'd say they've been the better side in fairness, but they've been more dominant in terms of possession, and created more chances, but Armagh have definitely been more clinical. Just waiting for the opportunity. Looked like Jason Duffy was going to shape up there maybe for the effort. Back inside into Cumiskey. He plays it into Ethan Rafferty, who's now operating in midfield. Aidan Forker on the ball. That's a good ball inside. Into Stephen Campbell on his right boot. Has he put it over the bar? He's put it wide of the target. It was a difficult effort, actually, in fact, from Stephen Campbell. He was a good bit out, sort of further, kind of near the cornerback area, shall we say. And it was a difficult angle for the shot and wide of the target. Looks like there might have been something maybe going on off the ball there, involving Aaron McCoy and David Clifford. Didn't quite get to see the angle of it there, but David Clifford is a bloody nose, so not sure. Could have been just a coming together. I'm not entirely sure if there was much malice in it, but we'll have to see. Minute to go until half time. 5 points apiece. Low scoring affair. Very cagey. Very sort of overly tactical, you'd say. Bit of a chess battle this match. 2 points critical really for either side in terms of moving sort of further away from that relegation zone. And Kerry move into the attack and pop the ball over the bar there. And it is Barry Dan O'Sullivan who pops that one over. Good bit of play there from Kerry. Moving the ball quickly, quick interchange, and Armagh weren't able to be hugely defensively or sort of in the right defensive positionings on this occasion. So we've got Aaron McCoy and David Clifford being consulted by the referee. Be interesting to see if he does give a big decision here, or does he give a yellow card apiece, or does he go for something more here? It'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, he doesn't send anyone off. He's given a yellow card either way, which is a bit of a cop-out usually for the referee, but we didn't really get to see a close enough angle to see what happened there. But our man possession, just 2 minutes at a time. We're just moving into the final second, so I don't know if the referee will allow another attack, or will he just blow the whistle. Armagh not in a rush to bring it forward, but they are sort of moving forward now with a bit of urgency. Burns playing it in. Stephen Campbell trying to work the space. That's a good point there from Stephen Campbell. Just about squeezes in. So we will be level at half-time. Good point on his left boot there, Stephen Campbell. Just drifted inside, cut inside, and just about got enough on it. Looked like it might have been dropping short, but just about got enough. So there we go, half-time. 6 points apiece. Kerry, 6 points. Armagh, 6 points. Very, very even game, you would say, so far. Hard to say who's actually been the better team. I think it's been even Stevens. I think Kerry have, been dominant in terms of possession, had the ball for larger parts, brought the game to Armagh more. But you have to say tactically, Kieran McGeeney, he's got his matchups fairly spot on. David Clifford hasn't had too much of an influence in the game. Hasn't scored from play, I don't think. And for Kerry, they've just been, they've had to be patient. They've had to wait for their opportunities, and probably maybe just some poor shooting maybe from Kerry has slightly let them down in that first half, you would say. Paul Murphy, Tom O'Sullivan dropping 2 chances short. Few efforts going wide, but all in all, it's a game that's very, very even Stevens in the melting pot. I think if you were an Armagh fan, you would be happier about that first half, considering, how badly Kerry were beat last week. You were expecting Kerry to come out the gate, start strong, get in Armagh's faces, and that definitely happened. But look, Armagh have been able to resist it. They've resisted the pressure, and 6 points apiece now. And look, Armagh have been that bit more clinical. I mean, Stephen Campbell hit one effort wide, had another effort that was going wide, but Shane Ryan kept it in play, so I guess that won't go down as a wide. So Armagh have been that bit more clinical, it must be said. Tom says Kerry look rattled. I'm not too sure if I'd say they look rattled as such. I think they've, Armagh have certainly got into some dangerous positions and, have ruffled Kerry's feathers. But Kerry have been, confident in possession, and they've been moving forward and waiting for the right openings. I just think it's a case of Armagh have done very well defensively. Like, I think Aaron McCoy's been very good. Aidan Forker's got like a good amount of turnovers. So no, I think Armagh will be very happy now with that first half. Kerry, just a little bit better shooting. Maybe decision making's been a bit off at times. They've certainly got into the positions to be in front in this game, and they've probably maybe left themselves a little bit open defensively at times. You get the feeling that a goal in this game, if a goal comes, could be crucial, because neither side, as a matter of fact, have had goal opportunities so far in this game. And although it's 6 points apiece, and it's been, I suppose maybe some would say, an uneventful game and maybe not so much a good game, but it's been, it's been intriguing. It's been a bit of a tactical battle between the two sides. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll have a look at what people are saying on social media. So we'll share my screen here with Twitter. Why won't it let me do it? It won't let me do it for some reason. There we go. Don't know why that wasn't working, but here we are. So let's have a look. So our good friend GA Statsman there, of course, done a watch along with myself for the Dublin Cork game last week. Just looking at it there, looking at some statistics. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, because just looking at it there, 10 efforts so far from Kerry, 6 converted. If we have a look there, 60% accuracy. So maybe actually they're shooting. Well, I suppose 2 efforts have dropped short, isn't it? 2 efforts have dropped short, I think, from what I see. And he's got 1 here, but there was definitely more than 1, I think. 4 efforts converted from 7 efforts from play. So not too bad there. I suppose the kickouts has been interesting. Like Kerry have won they've won all their own kickouts, because Armagh have conceded the short kickout and dropped off from kickouts. But Kerry have also won a lot of Armagh's kickouts as well. Just looking at it there in that first half. Good amount of turnovers in the first half from Armagh as well. Winning the turnover battle, it must be said. But fairly even Stevens. Like when you actually look at them stats, you look at it and think there's really been nothing between the sides. I mean, Armagh have been a little bit more clinical going forward, but haven't created as much. 66% accuracy. Converted 6 from 9, which is actually quite impressive when you think about it. Considering they're actually going, away from home. So yeah, I suppose the one statistic maybe they'll watch there is just that, their own kickouts. I think they need to be a little bit wary, because Kerry have been quite successful from that. And Armagh, I'm surprised they haven't won more turnovers here. Just looking at that statistic there, I thought, they would have won a little bit more in sort of the turnover battle, but yeah, because they've I suppose they're highlighting here on RT, like they've been very much in Kerry's face. So interesting stuff there. Just looking at some scores, then we'll run through the scores for the game. So we've got David Clifford, Barry Dan O'Sullivan, Sean O'Shea, Dara Roach, Paddy Clifford, and Paul Murphy all getting on the score sheet there. Interestingly enough, 6 different scores there from Kerry. So they haven't had one dominant player. And if you'd say who's been Kerry's best player so far, I mean, that's a difficult one. I think Tom O'Sullivan has had a good game, hasn't scored, but he's been, he's got into some good positions, you would say. Probably Paul Murphy's maybe been Kerry's brightest spark, or possibly even Barry Dan O'Sullivan, actually, who's done well in around midfield. Just looking at it from an Armagh perspective, if we have a look here, Rian O'Neill with 3 points, 2 points from place balls, and we've Stephen Campbell, Charlie O'Burns, and Aidan Forker all getting on the score sheet. 3 wides from an Armagh perspective, 4 wides from a Kerry perspective, but of course 1 drop short, as it says here. Pretty sure there was another one there, in fairness, but But yeah, have a look here what other people are saying. We'll just put Kerry in here. That usually kind of narrows things down. See what the fans are saying. Adam Moynihan says here the next president of the GA, Jarlath Burns, is in attendance. He's getting plenty of handshakes and pats on the back. That's former Kerry chairman Sean Walsh congratulating the Armagh man. I suppose nothing really about the game as such there, but a lot being said about the Kerry and Offaly game, of course, which took place earlier in Division 2. GA Edit says Stefan O'Cumber starts for Kerry in place of Pat Warren. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up Rian O'Neill. I suppose we did say that, didn't we? At the start of the game, I'd expect O'Neill to do his usual work roaming around the middle. Third at stages, O'Cumber is probably the right matchup for him for his athleticism at loan. Yeah, like and to be fair, I probably haven't quite. I don't know if he actually is picking him up, but he certainly does have the athleticism for him, no doubt about that. But yeah, probably not a lot to say from people here so far, really, in this game. Probably isn't actually a lot to talk about, really. I think we've kind of ran through the main points, but certainly for some of you lads who are watching this stream and who watched the game or are just watching the stream, like, let me know what your thoughts have been on the game so far. We'll just put Armagh here and see who's talking about the good Orchard County, as they call them. But Andy Water says all square 6-6 at half time. We'll take that. Kerry dominating possession, but the visitors will have hung in there with the help of a couple of superb frees from Rian O'Neill. Kerry finding it hard to break them down. Yeah, I think that's a spot on sort of assumption of the game there, or sort of analysis of the game. I think, I think Armagh have been very, very deep. But it's definitely, and that's the thing about when sides go defensive. You always want to be defensive, but with a game plan, with strategy, with the right matchups. And I think it's worked very, very well. And I think Armagh have done very well defensively to sort of limit the space there. GA Edits also says Kerry not pressing the Kerry kick out at all while they're against the breeze. Very surprising. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I mean, I suppose it's probably because they've been, they've got a lot of men behind the ball. They're being, they've got, almost every man inside their own 45. If they press up on the kick out and lose it, then they they're exposed. And looking at it, Kerry have done very well on Armagh's kick out so far. Could be got to do with the breeze, but at the same time, I think, I think you would look at that and think it's just a little bit risky, isn't it? But at the same time, if Armagh fall too far behind, they might maybe leave themselves with a bit much to do. Smaller Fish GA says Armagh are not set up well. They scored 6 points in the wind. On what planet is that being set up well? I'm not too sure what he means there, to be honest. I don't know if he's being sarcastic, but I would certainly say Armagh have definitely been set up well so far. They scored 6 points with the win, but I mean, they've been set up well in terms of limiting what Kerry have offered them. Maybe you would say when Kerry have the win in the second half that, they'll pull further adrift and they'll create more opportunities. But, I don't know. I would disagree with that. I think Armagh have been set up well. I mean, it's a level game, and Kerry have definitely had to work harder for their scores. We'll see as the game goes on, but I think for Armagh, the main thing really about in this game was just sticking with Kerry, sticking with them, because Kerry were going to start fast, especially after the defeat last week. And you know, they did, and they got after Armagh. They tried to get in their faces and create stuff, but Armagh have been able to resist it. Will they be able to sustain it for the full 70 minutes? That's, you know, that is another question, I suppose. And especially with the breeze in favour of Kerry in the second half, maybe you would expect them to pull away a little bit, but there we have it. We've got plenty of Armagh supporters making the trip up there. Great to see. Great to see. I tell you what, I'd love to be in there with them now, having a few points. Lee Costello says Armagh happy to concede the kickouts to keep their shape in behind, and clearly have went with a classic. Get stuck into an early approach to deal with David Clifford. Kept them to 1 point so far, but not sure pissing him off is the best tactic. Yeah, it definitely hasn't worked in the past, and it'll be interesting to see if we can get a replay of that sort of coming together between Aaron McCoy and David Clifford. You know, David Clifford ended up with a bloody nose, so I don't really know what happened there, but Paul says, I'm watching as a neutral, and the amount Armagh getting away with is wild. They never play to the whistle, almost always a shot or two in the ribs in between the referee blowing the whistle and the Armagh lads hearing it. Kerry are being hard done by here. In fairness, you know, in the Armagh Mayo game, there was definitely one or two instances where I thought Armagh should have had a sending off or two. And I mean, in this game, yeah, like there probably has been a few heavy challenges going in, but I don't know. Like I haven't seen anything overly bad from a Kerry perspective, and you know, we'll see. Obviously, if you know, we'll see if we can get a replay of that incident between Aaron McCoy and David Clifford, but it doesn't look like the RT cameras picked it up there. Buff Egan in Killarney there to see the hurling game, I presume. I don't know if he stuck around for the football, but plenty of Armagh supporters taking over there. Suppose it does look like, you know, good day in Kerry in terms of weather wise. I mean, maybe a bit of a heavy wind, but all being that's been the suppose that's been all she wrote so far. Gavin said Armagh did well in the first half against Roscommon, but kind of collapsed in the second half. So the second against Kerry should be interesting. Yeah, it's probably been a similar sort of game, hasn't it? Where, you know, Kerry and I suppose Armagh were leading at half time against Roscommon, and Roscommon just came out at the start of the second half and, you know, I think hit 1-2 without reply. But generally speaking, you know, Roscommon were you know, definitely pulled away the further that game went on, and Armagh probably left themselves with too much to do. Just waiting for the start of the second half. 6 points apiece so far in the game. Kerry will be, or I suppose both sides will be, well, I mean, I think Armagh will be the happier of the two, but at the same time, Kerry will be playing with the breeze in the second half, so that, you know, they might get a few more opportunities. I do still expect Kerry to go on and win this game. I think it will just be a little bit much for Armagh to keep up playing like this and keep Kerry out. But the longer the game stays like this, the longer it stays, you know, a close game, the more it looks like Armagh might maybe come away with a win and or, you know, sneak it possibly. You know, it gives them an opportunity of sneaking it. And I think that's clearly been the game plan from an Armagh perspective, has been, you know, let's just try stick with Kerry here. I mean, you could argue the case that Kerry have been vulnerable so far this year. You know, Mayo went for their throat. And exploited them and went after them and put them on the back foot early on. Armagh definitely haven't done that in terms of, you know, in terms of, like, obviously they won the early throw in and went direct, but they haven't put Kerry on the back foot as much. Like, they've conceded short kickouts. They've allowed Kerry to keep possession, but yeah, Porrick says, who do you think will win between Mayo and Tyrone? I would go with Mayo, I think, by the small, I expect Tyrone to definitely play better than what we've seen. And, Tyrone have a very good record against Mayo at the minute. They've beaten Mayo, I think, in the last 4 times they've played them. The league last year, and obviously, that All-Ireland final in 2021. So, Tyrone have a habit of pulling a rabbit out of the hat against Mayo. But you'd look at Mayo and how well they've started so far in the league. You would think surely with Mayo being at home, and with the sort of the feel good factor around Kevin McStay at the minute, and the fact that Tyrone have looked quite legless so far in the league, you would expect Mayo to win. But look, the league can be very, very unpredictable at times, and we're straight into the start of the second half. Armagh go direct, and maybe an early opportunity for a score. Has that drifted over the bar? It has. That's a very, very good score, actually. Very, very good score there from an Armagh perspective. It was Greg McCabe, I think it might have been, who it looked like he had too much height on it and maybe gone wide. But as you can see there, it goes over the bar. So for the first time in the game, Armagh lead. Armagh lead away to Kerry, 7 points to 6. First time in the game that they've led. Similarly enough to what we've seen at the start of the first half, they win the throw in, they go direct into Jason Duffy, who then found a bit of space to play it into Greg McCabe, and he put it over the bar. Obviously I'm watching this on the TV and I'm not watching without commentary, so I'm not sure how strong the breeze really, really is, but Armagh, like that's very positive from them to get that early point, and Kerry just almost losing possession there. Armagh just hunting Kerry here. Like, this is a very sort of Tyrone-esque performance, you would nearly say, from Armagh so far, where, they're, maybe the Tyrone of the early 2000s. But yeah, it's been tough for Kerry so far. Here goes Tom O'Sullivan again into Sean O'Shea. And, the fact that Armagh are a point in front, playing this kind of way suits them. Playing this way for Armagh suits them, And Kerry have gone direct, they went for an effort there. It was a long way out of the target. I think, not too sure who it was who went for the effort there. But that's another turnover in favour of the Yorkshire County. Greg McCabe winning the ball. Was coming out with a couple of challenges going in. Not too sure if there was a foul there, in fairness, but referee has called it. So Armagh in possession with Jardy O'Burns. Ethan Rafferty now on the ball. And yeah, Kerry a point down here. Obviously, only a point in it, and of course, still a large chunk of this second half to go. But you would say that, if Kerry were to be beating their own backyard, 3 defeats from 4, still have some of the better, the teams who've been doing well in this division so far, like Roscommon, and still have to play Tyrone as well, who they don't actually have a great record against recently either. But of course, still a long, long way to go. It's Kerry's turn now to, I suppose, try and absorb the pressure, be defensive. You look at Ethan Rafferty, always, getting involved, trying to get into the thick of the action. And here they go now, Armagh, with Charlie O'Burns. Bit of space maybe opening up, thought about going for the effort, but didn't do so. Back for Burns. Cumiskey on the ball now, Caelan Cumiskey. Bit of space. I think Armagh maybe. Oh no, that's Jason Duffy. And that is a great score from Jason Duffy. Brilliant, brilliant point. Armagh have been clinical. They have been clinical going forward, it must be said. And they lead by 2. And, there hasn't been bigger than a 2-point lead in this game, actually. So Armagh now lead by 2. And that was a lovely score, actually, by Jason Duffy. And I thought originally it was someone else. I thought it was maybe a change there, but it was Jason Duffy who popped the ball over the bar. And Armagh lead by 2. So pressure on Kerry, 4 minutes into the second half. No score so far from them. David Clifford has been isolated really so far, but he wins the ball. It's a good hand pass inside. Looked like might have been a foul there. David Clifford, I think, is... No, that's not a foul. I think David Clifford is looking for that one there. I think Kerry have got away with one there. I don't think that was a foul, in my opinion. It looked like Clifford sort of, just looking at it here, has the ball. Paul Murphy. Looked like he mightn't have even hand passed it. I don't think there's anything in that, to be honest with you. I think that's a soft enough free there to win from Kerry. It's a difficult angle for David Clifford. Close to the corner. We've seen him pop these ones over time and time again, but he doesn't. It was going wide. But Ethan Rafferty comes out for it anyway, and he's playing with fire here. Really needs to release the ball because there's a few Kerry players around him, but he's look at him go. Look. He loves just running into those heavy challenges. And in fairness, look, it worked out. He played it into one of the Armagh players, didn't quite catch who it was. I think it might have been Kieran Mackin. Ethan Rafferty is down at the moment. I mean, look, fair play to him at the same time. Like I think he plays as a midfielder with his club, and you can see that at times that, his directness with the ball. You would wonder at times that, like, if he was to lose it. But a yellow card being dished out there for Adrian Spillane. Heavy shoulder, in fairness. Probably shoulder to shoulder. Maybe after he released the ball. But yeah, it's been a disappointing start to the second half from Kerry. Poor effort there by David Clifford. Uncharacteristic error, or uncharacteristicness, you'd say, from him. It was a tricky angle, but yeah, it didn't even look, it was dropped short as well. It didn't have the accuracy, nor did it have the power on the effort. So Armagh in possession, and Kerry trying to press high up on Armagh, not allow them to have time on the ball. The way this game is kind of gone, you would say, it very much does suit Armagh here, because they've been happy to be defensive. They've happy to have a lot of men behind the ball, and that is what we have seen so far in this game from both sides. Of course, only a two-point game so far, so you would say plenty to go. Here's Jardy Oak-Burns, nearly gets dispossessed. Did lose the ball, but Armagh do still have it. They've managed to recover it. You've got a lot of Kerry players now sort of inside their own 45. I mean, it is still early days yet, but especially with Kerry being behind, you would expect them just to apply a bit more pressure on Armagh when they're in these situations. But I suppose you don't want to press out too much and leave space for Armagh to hit in behind, so might be a bit early. But yeah, 43 minutes gone on the clock. Armagh leading by 2 points. Keeping the ball here. They've had the ball for about a good minute or two now, you'd say. Here goes Ethan Rafferty. Is he going to shape up for the shot? I think he was thinking about it there, but he releases the ball, just about gets it away. Look at Stefano Cumber driving out there, just running after Armagh players. Risky enough ball played in there. Look like Kerry might get the turnover. Referee's going to have to call something here at some point, and he does. Turnover in the end was Jason Duffy on the ball, dispossessed. So Kerry have the ball back. Nearly 10 minutes into the second half. No score so far from Kerry so far in the second half. I think they've only hit 3 points from play as well. So, they were a little bit low scoring last week. They've been a little bit low scoring this week as well. But the good news is there's not much in it. That's a good bit of play. There should be a score, and it is a score. Kerry do get their first point from play in the second half, or their first point in the second half. They play it through the middle, popped over the bar. I think it might have been Tyg Morley actually who made the forward run. Couple of heavy shoulders going in on O'Sullivan. And he eventually played it into Tyg Morley, who made a forward run, and he pops it over the bar, brings it back to a 1-point game. It's been, it's been neck and neck. There hasn't been more than a 2-point lead in this match. And, if you were a betting man, you would definitely bet on maybe this game being a draw, because it has been that kind of game. It's been maybe not the greatest spectacle, but it's been intriguing, cagey, a bit scrappy at times. And moving into the final 25 minutes, Kerry win the kick-out. They've done very well on Armagh kick-outs, in fairness. And David Clifford now has 2 men around him, too far away to go for the effort. Back to Stefan O'Cumber. Kerry in possession, just waiting for the right opening. Here's Sean O'Shea. Back into Barry O'Sullivan, who I think has had a very good game so far for Kerry. That effort dropped short. Looked like there might have been a foul as he was taking that effort there, Tyg Morley, but I don't think the referee's going to call anything. Tyg Morley's effort dropping short. Nearly 2 points on the spin there for the Kerry centre-back, but not meant to be. Armagh lose possession, quite sloppy. Maybe a little bit exposed now. David Clifford got a couple of players around him. Definitely dragged back there, David Clifford. And this will be an opportunity for either David Clifford or Sean O'Shea, whoever's standing over it, to put this one over and draw us back to a level game. Yeah, definitely a foul there from Aaron McCoy is, if anything, probably should be a yellow card, actually, because it was kind of a bit of a slap on the back of David Clifford's head from the looks of it there. But stays as a 1-point game, and Adrian Spillan's gone off. Been quiet enough, but it's been a difficult game for him, in fairness. David Clifford stands over it. He missed the last one, dropped the last one short, and he's dropped this one short as well. That's 2 very poor misses from David Clifford, and there wasn't too much rustiness about him last week when he came off the bench. If he didn't play last week, you'd maybe say, but we'll get back to that in the meantime, because Kerry have turned the ball over again. That's, I think, 2 turnovers on the spin, and they've won another foul here. So Armagh are struggling just to get out. They're struggling to get out here, and Kerry are turning them over. David Clifford, though, missing that last opportunity. 2 opportunities he's dropped short, and that one was certainly a lot more scoreable, in my opinion. He's going to take this one as well. I thought maybe they might just give it to Sean O'Shea, but I suppose definitely an effort that suits the left footer. Is Clifford going to pop this one over? He just about pops it over. It nearly actually dropped short again. I think it came off Ethan Rafferty's hand, but it is over the bar. And it is a score there from David Clifford. You would have been thinking, what is going on if he had to drop 3 short? But as I was saying, maybe a bit of rustiness from David Clifford, but he certainly didn't look rusty last week, it must be said, when he came off the bench against Mayo. But yeah, big kick-out one there by Armagh as they go direct into Jason Duffy. Referee has stopped the play here for something. I think Armagh would have been happy to continue on, but I think it might be a head injury, so that's why the ref, I suppose, is obliged to actually stop the game there. But yeah, just moving into the final 20 minutes. Both sides level. And Andrew Murnan's the man down. Maybe just a bit of a coming together there in the kick out. I think it was just the way he fell, actually, as he jumped up for the ball, maybe, was it? Not entirely sure. Couldn't really see much from there. But yeah, 8 points apiece. Armagh will have the possession here. And I suppose possession for Armagh really is key, because Kerry are winning that kick-out battle. And they're winning the turnover battle, I'd imagine, now as well. Yellow card for Kieran McGeeney, is it? I think a yellow card for Kieran McGeeney. Not too sure what it's a yellow card for. Kerry making another change. Tony Brosnan's come on. Micheál Burns, of course, went off earlier. It'd be interesting to see who's going off. Dara Roach is the man going off. I suppose just 1 point in the game from him. He's probably struggled to really get involved and get in the game. And a big opportunity for Tony Brosnan, who has done very well at club level for Kerry, it must be said. And he's had bright sparks in a Kerry shirt, but just hasn't quite been able to consistently produce, at high levels for Kerry. But he is a good option and a good player, certainly, to be bringing on. Armagh in possession, 20 minutes to go. Ethan Rafferty on the ball. Plays it back into Andrew Merlin, who's dropping very deep. Level between the two sides so far. And I think from an Armagh perspective, I think that the longer the game stays close and stays tight, I think it suits Armagh. I think it suits them for both sides to be neck and neck, or Armagh to slightly be in front. I think if Kerry were to build up a 3-4 point lead, you'd find it very tough for Armagh. But yeah, 2 points piece for either side. It's a risky ball played in there, but Rian O'Neill is absolutely brilliant. But then that's a fantastic tackle there. I'm not too sure who it was from, but that was a brilliant tackle there from a Kerry perspective. Looks like they've just ran into trouble a little bit themselves, and the ref has called a foul there, and it's in advantage of Kerry. Tony Brosnan with the ball. Be interesting to see that earlier tackle. I think it might have been from Tyg Morley on Rian O'Neill. As clean as a tackle as you'll see, just completely slapped the ball out of his hands. 13 minutes since Armagh scored, so you just get the feeling that Kerry, with the breeze, with the fact they've been dominant in kickouts, with the home advantage behind them, it's definitely Kerry's game to win here. Definitely Kerry's game to win. But, shooting has just let them down a little bit at times again in this game. And Armagh are just very well set up. Very, 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 very intriguing. Very intriguing game, it must be said. And for anyone who is tuning into this live stream, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, would be much appreciated. Do plenty of watch-alongs similar to this one. Definitely do one next weekend again. And do podcasts, match reactions, absolutely everything GEA related on the channel. So it would be much appreciated. But 8 points apiece. Kerry keeping the ball. It's their turn to keep the ball. It's a very, very overly tactical game, it must be said. Very cagey game. You do get the feeling there's a lot on the line. I mean, it's Kerry's chance to go up to 4 points. It's Armagh's chance to go up to 5 points, and that's a big turnover there from Armagh. Great bit of defensive work there from Greg McCabe and Burns. And Armagh now will go down the other end. Connor Turba, who's come off the bench. Armagh trying to be decisive. It was Jarly out Burns there. He'd no option. He'd no option in front of him. Kerry win the turnover. Fairness to Kerry, they're playing, very high up the pitch. So it's hard for Armagh to break out on the counter-attack now. And they don't have the breeze either. So it's tough for them. Kerry just keeping possession. Very, very, very tactical game. It's definitely not the most entertaining. And I'm sure the GA Public won't be happy. Chances opened up there. Just going to go wide. Good bit wide in the end, actually. It was Sean O'Shea. It was definitely his territory. But pulls it wide. It was far enough out. I think that's Kerry's first wide of the second half. But, Clifford has dropped too short as well. So, Armagh have been clinical. I think Armagh have only had 2 scoring chances, really, in the second half. And scored both of them, So Armagh have been more clinical than Kerry, but this is another big kick out now because Kerry are pressing up on those kickouts, and there's not much options for Ethan Rafferty, so he has to go long. And Armagh do win it. Conor Turbo wins it. Imagine that's probably why they brought him on, because he adds that bit of height. Ross McQuillan's come on. Looked like he might have been fouled there. It was actually Jason Duffy who played it into Conor Turbo. They look very similar, Jason Duffy and Conor Turbo. I think that's why I'm mixing them up a bit. They've got similar haircuts as well. Plays it in. Turbo sort of juggled the ball, and then Jason Foley sort of dived into the back of him. I think it is a foul. And it's probably a foul in the end that Jason Foley probably didn't need to make, because I think Kerry would have won the ball there. But yeah, here we go. Big opportunity for Armagh to go back in front going into the final 14 minutes. Big opportunity for Rian O'Neill. We've seen him put these over time and time again. As I said, there certainly is a breeze, but you would expect O'Neill, player of his talent, to pop this one over. And he puts it wide. You could see the fans celebrating behind the goal. I wasn't too sure if it was Armagh fans or what sort of contingent of fans it was, but puts it wide. Just didn't get enough on it, I don't think. Didn't get enough whip on it. And it looked like it would kind of drop short as well. So it's been a difficult night for shooters out there. Rian O'Neill, David Clifford, Sean O'Shea, 3 of the best players in the game, from place balls, and they've all struggled out there tonight. So I think, the common denominator has to be there. There's definitely heavy wind down in Kerry tonight. Sean O'Shea back on the ball. It's been a while since we had a score. Been probably about 7 or 8 minutes. Here is Sean O'Shea. Kerry waiting for the openings. Tom O'Sullivan into Stephen O'Cumber. Back to Dara Moynihan, who's just been the man who's sort of, trying to set the scores up, trying to keep things ticking over. Good ball inside. You've got Graham O'Sullivan there, almost playing as a corner forward. You can see Kerry trying to get like cornerbacks forward, wing backs forward, just to, create something, make an opportunity. Barry O'Sullivan goes in. Oh, was there a heavy challenge there? I think Dara Moynihan might have maybe made the most of that, you would think. Well, let's have a look here. Dara Moynihan wins it. Yeah, no, it is a foul. Definitely is. Burns with the... I mean, when you raise your hand to someone's face, I think, unfortunately, that, it's always going to be a foul. It certainly wasn't intentional, and it wasn't malicious, but it definitely was a foul. So yellow card there. Definitely, we're definitely seeing referees be a lot more card happy this year. They're definitely trying to clamp out those sort of, and to be fair, like if you raise your hand to someone's face, albeit not intentional, it probably is a foul. David Clifford standing over it, well within his remit, pops it over the bar. So Kerry back in front. They've had 3 without reply. It's been a slow game. It's been a cagey game. But Kerry in front. Armagh take a short kick out, so they took that one quickly. They didn't allow Kerry to set up. Big moment here, because Armagh haven't scored in quite a while, and must be nearly 20 minutes probably since they've scored. They haven't scored since the 37th minute, so over 20 minutes. About 23 minutes without a point for Armagh, so they really need to get the next point, and they're just being a little bit sloppy. They get away with it though. Just broke down with Kieran Mackin and Charlie O'Burns, but they do still have it. Ethan Rafferty loves to take a man on. Hand passes it in to the Armagh cornerback. There's Greg McCabe. Couple of challenges going in there. Ooh, I think the referee might have called a free here for Armagh, and I'm not sure if it was, I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure about that. I'll need to see that again. Looked like Tyg Morley, I think it was. It looked like he got a bit of hand on the ball there, but Ethan Rafferty is the man standing over this, so not Rian O'Neill. It is a difficult breeze. So it's going to be Rafferty. And he's going to kick it out of his hands as well, by the looks of things. This is a big moment now for Armagh. They haven't scored, well over 20 minutes. It's a difficult free. You'd nearly wonder, should they just have worked it short and kept possession? But Rafferty's gone for it. And Rafferty has put that over. He's put it over. Looked like it went wide, but he definitely has put it over. There was a lot of height on it, so it was hard to pick it up there. Yeah, just about snuck in the end. So 9 points apiece. Back to a level game. This must be the 5th or 6th, possibly even 7th time that these sides have been level. It's been, it's been enthralling. It's been a very, very intriguing, cagey match. Probably not the most exciting, but it's been very entertaining sort of in those regards. Kerry just biding possession here, waiting for the right opening. There's David Clifford, plays it inside. You would probably say so far Kerry have, dominated the possession, waited for the opportunities, but the opportunities probably just not quite coming here. Armagh very, very well set up defensively here. Stefan O'Cumber. Waiting for the right opening. Good ball inside there. Might be an opportunity here for Darren Moynihan. Looked like he had the chance. David Clifford stands over it. Puts it over, is he? No, he's put it wide. That was a great opportunity there for David Clifford on his left boot. Great opportunity for Kerry. But puts it wide. And that's, I think, 2 drops short from David Clifford. Another effort wide. Kerry have certainly just not quite been at the races in terms of shooting once again this week. And just looking at it there, Paddy Clifford going off. Rory Murphy coming on. Armagh making a change as well. Jamar Hall coming on. And Callum Cumiskey going off. So, big final 7 minutes of this game now for either side. As Armagh win the possession with Charlie O'Burns. That was a big kick out actually won there by Armagh. When you think about it, Kerry have had a lot of the joy in terms of kickouts. Nine points apiece. I think the scoreline definitely does reflect how this game has been. It's been cagey, it's been slow, and it's been a battle for either side. But going down the final 5 minutes plus injury time, and probably not a lot of injury time when you think about it. Bit of a coming together there between 2 players off the ball, but Armagh play on and pop it over the bar. Great score there from Charlie O'Burns, his 2nd point of the game. definitely may have been a coming together. I think of two Kerry players, actually. Two Kerry players ran into each other. And Charlie O'Byrne's obviously carrying on. Pops it over the bar. Great score there. As we've seen two Kerry players completely running into each other there. So Armagh lead. Mick Celtic says Armagh, boo, definitely. I mean, what a result this would be for Armagh if they can hang on here for the final 5 minutes. But there does appear to be a bit of a stoppage here. Two Kerry players, of course, running into each other. I can't quite see who they were. Looks like it was... Just having a look here. Sean O'Shea and Tyg Morley, I think, running into each other there. As Kerry very much played on, or as Armagh very much played on. It's actually Jason Foley and Sean O'Shea running into each other there. Bit of a challenge. But yeah, you know what result it would be, and I can't remember the last time that Armagh won away to Kerry. Like, that's quite a statistic. That would be quite a statistic to find. If anyone watching this happens to know that. You know, you think of Kerry at home as well. Rarely get beat. You know, didn't get beat last year at home, I don't think. I think their only defeat in the league came away to Tyrone, or it might have actually been at home now that I think about it. But yeah, 4 minutes to go. You have to give Armagh a lot of credit. You know, we've seen at halftime when we're looking through Twitter comments, people maybe criticising Armagh's approach to be so defensive, concede the short kick out, allow Kerry to come onto them. But look, if they win this game, it's spot on, you know, and it's been tough for Kerry. It's been tough for Kerry to break through them, to find space, to find the gap. And one would say that, you know, it's suited Armagh down to the ground, suited them down to the absolute ground so far. Kerry in possession, trying to be calm, collective, just trying to work an opening. They are still alive, still only a point in it, so you still wouldn't be surprised if Kerry came away with a victory, but I just feel like Kerry are hanging on to the ball for too long. That's a dive, 100% a dive, and that's a good call by the referee. Not too sure who it was who went down. Not sure what's after happening here. You see Sean O'Shea. Yeah, nothing on it there. Sean O'Shea drops down in a crouch position. So I think the ref has given a foul. It looked like he called Sean O'Shea to just get up. But now he has given the foul. So a bit of a soft one there. So David Clifford standing over it. We've seen him miss a few, but this is definitely within his remit. Gets a lot of bend on it. And over the bar, we are back level once again. 10 points apiece. 10 points apiece going into the final couple of minutes, you know, and there probably won't be too much injury time, probably 1 or 2 minutes. Looking at David Clifford there. Donald O'Sullivan coming on. Darren Moynihan coming off. You know, Kerry probably do have the better options coming off the bench. I've seen Ross McQuillan come on for Armagh there as well a little bit earlier, but, you know, Kerry probably with the a little bit better options. Mick says, Jesus, Kerry, man, throwing themselves about. Yeah, there's probably been one or two soft fouls maybe given against Armagh, you would say, but, you know, probably gone either way as well, in fairness. But that's a big kick out won by Kerry. And here they come forward now with Tom O'Sullivan. Pay for a risky pass, nearly gets intercepted, but they still have the ball. Into Big Donny O'Sullivan, who's just come on. Is there a chance for a score here? That will be an unbelievable score if he gets it. And he has got it. What a point that is. What a brilliant, brilliant point there. I think by Tony Brosnan, who came on. It is Tony Brosnan. He had two men closing them down. 2 men closing them down. And look at that, the celebration to go with it as well. Huge point there for Kerry. Huge point for Tony Brosnan. It was a difficult one. And it was a risky one because a low percentage shot in many ways, but he had to take that risk. Pops it over. Kerry have hit 2 without reply now. And now it's Armagh's turn to come back now and try and make something of it. And they're the ones in possession. Be interesting to see how much injury time there is, but will there be much? 4 minutes maybe? 3 minutes? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Don't think there's been that much of a stoppage. There was a little bit of a stoppage maybe for Morley or for Jason Foley. Oh, Charlie O'Byrne's dragged back there by Stephen O'Cumber. He's a bit too far out. There's a bit of a breeze. I don't think they'll be able to go for the score here. It's too far out for Rian O'Neill, especially with the conditions. Or is he going to go for it? He's looking like maybe he is, actually. It's just a little bit in front of the 45-meter line. Probably about 47, 48 meters. Conditions are tough though, and we've seen Rian O'Neill miss an opportunity that was probably easier. He needs to get a lot of whip on this, I think. And it could drop short, and that's why you've got a lot of Armagh men inside the square. Oh, he's done something clever, but something a bit too clever. He tried to just side foot it into the Armagh cornerback Burns, and he's under a lot of pressure there. Ref is surely going to give over carrying. Looks like he's got away with it. Kerry do have the ball, and they play a dangerous pass in there. Stephen O'Cumber playing with 4 definitely is a foul. I mean, you could see what Rian O'Neill was trying to do there. He was trying to be clever. I think it was Aidan Forker maybe he hit the ball into. But he just overhit it. He just overhit it and left Forker with too much to do. Armagh now a little bit exposed, and Kerry can hit them on the counter-attack. Are they going to try? You'd feel like another point would kill this game off, surely. Because it's going to be very hard to see Armagh score 2, let alone 1. But here they are in possession, the Kingdom. They're just going to slow it down now. Just going to slow it down, keep possession, and not overly work themselves, one would feel. You can see Armagh now, though, just trying to press up a little bit higher, take a few more risks, because obviously they're a point down, and we're in injury time now, so they really need to turn the ball over. Tom O'Sullivan, a risky ball. Jamar Hall with a bit of a heavy challenge, probably not needed. It's just going to slow the game down even more now. Ball was played in. Yeah, I suppose it is a foul. It is a foul. Barry O'Sullivan went down. So Armagh making another change here. Noel Grimley coming on. And it's going to be Kieran Mackin going off. 1 point between the sides. It's been close. It's been cagey. And that certainly hasn't been the greatest spectacle, you would say. You feel like a draw is the fairest result here. And Kerry have gone long. And I was going to say it would have been a nightmare decision there just to give possession away as easily as that. But they actually get a point out of it. A little bit lucky there, in my opinion. They went direct, and I don't know why they risked giving away possession. But look, in the end, it paid off. I'm not too sure who it was. Might have been David Clifford. He probably could have went for a goal. That's about as good as a goal opportunity as we've seen in this game. And a goal would have put the game to bed completely. But stays as a 2-point game. Ethan Rafferty going long now. Armagh trying to work a goal. Are we going to have some late drama? Armagh trying to work a point. Here's Jason Duffy. Plays it into Grimley, the substitute. Oh, there's definitely a foul in that. I don't know if the ref has given that, though. Or am I going to try to take a point? They're going direct. It's bouncing and bobbling around all over the place. And I think you've got a lot of fans nearly on the pitch there. Surely you're going to have to tell the fans to get a little bit back there. They're getting a bit too... I mean, some fans already on the pitch. A little bit too excited there, some of the supporters. I mean, some of them are getting very, very close to the pitch there. Where's the stewards when you need them? Doesn't look like a steward in sight. We have played the 5 minutes of injury time, but you would imagine the ref will probably play an extra, minute or so. Yeah, Armagh have to win this. They have to win this kick out and then, try work a goal. Shane Ryan goes long. It is won by Armagh. They race forward. Could there be an opportunity? Rian O'Neill in possession. Kerry being very touch tight. Charlie O'Byrne's trying to work something. It's probably now or never. They just need to put the ball in. And they put it in. Oh, it was bouncing around. Nothing really came of it. Is that a foul? I think it is. It is a foul. Favour of Kerry. They try to take it quickly, and they do take it quickly. But I think the referee is going to call it back. I think he's going to call it back in the end. Frantic finish there. And I think this is it. I think Rian O'Neill is going to have to hit it Michael Meehan style. A point is no good. The referee isn't going to allow it. So Rian O'Neill goes for it, but it blazes well over the bar. Bit too much height on it. And the referee does blow the final whistle. So that is game, set, and match. Kerry win 12 points to 11 in Fitzgerald Stadium. Big result in the end for Kerry. It was a match that certainly, in my opinion, was very, not the best game, not the greatest spectacle, very even. And it was a game that could have went either way, I felt. Plenty of fans run onto the pitch. I think some of them trying to get onto the pitch a little bit early, but it was a game that certainly could have went either way. There wasn't more than a 2-point lead in this game at any stage. And that really tells you everything you need to know. I mean, Armagh, look, they came with a game plan, and in many ways it didn't work in the end because Kerry came away with the victory. But it certainly it certainly made Kerry work for it. They certainly made Kerry work for it. I mean, they had every man inside their own 45, hugely defensive, conceding the short kick out. And they very much said to Kerry, like, you come at us, you try and break us down. And they allowed Kerry have the possession. And Kerry did have the possession. They had the majority of the ball, I think 64% in the first half. And I do think Kerry probably on the balance of play were the slightly better side, but it was very, very even. Very, very even in my opinion. And the scoreline suggests that there wasn't much in it and it could have went either way, and that certainly was the case. I think Kerry's shooting maybe in the first half, and even at times in the second half, let them down a little bit once again. I think that's probably what cost them just a little bit, in my opinion. I know they won the game in the end, but I think they would have won a little bit more comfortable. Clifford dropped 2 chances short in the second half, put another one wide. Tom O'Sullivan dropped 2 short in the first half. It was just shooting that probably let Kerry down a little bit in the game, and that's certainly something I think they can work on. But in saying that, from looking on the TV and from looking on social media and from looking at how this game played, I mean, there must have been a heavy wind because you've seen Sean O'Shea missing chances. Rian O'Neill dropped one effort that went wide as well from a 45. And another instance where he could have popped one over and in the end played it short. So you could definitely see the conditions definitely did play its part in this match. And look, I know some people will probably criticize Armagh for how they played, but I think in the end, they came with a clear game plan. They stifled Kerry. They made it hard for them. But you have to admire Kerry. You have to admire Kerry for holding their bottle because, there was one stage in that game at the start of the second half. They went 2 points down at the start of the second half. And you were thinking, this game suits Armagh. This game suits Armagh. It really, really does. And, Armagh were able to even pull it back at one point and go a point in front, sort of going into the final couple of minutes. And it was a tough game for Kerry in Killarney at home, having lost 2 of 3 games already. They really, really needed to sort of, I suppose, sort of drag it out. And in fairness, they did do that. They had to hold their nerve. They had to wait for their opportunities and wait for their chances. And, it was a tough night for David Clifford. Don't think he scored from play. A lot of heavy challenges going in on him. I think, I've seen him with a bloody nose at one point. It was a tough game for the Kerry forwards to really get into, to come alive, to make something happen. And Armagh were just, they were relentless defensively. You could argue the case the referee probably gave, 1 or 2 soft frees towards the end there. I mean, the late free in the end from David Clifford, probably not a free in my opinion. But I think you could argue that both ways. I remember Armagh getting 1 or 2 soft frees as well. It was a tough game to referee because there was a lot of fouls. There was a lot of challenges going in. And look, it wasn't, as I said, it wasn't a great game. It was very, very cagey. Kerry just had to wait and bide their time to break through Armagh. And in fairness to Armagh, you have to give them credit. When we look at the statistics, they were, shooting-wise, a lot more clinical than Kerry, more clinical in the first half. In the second half, just 1 chance went wide from Rian O'Neill is what I remember. And obviously they were playing against the breeze in the second half, so it was tougher for them. But I thought they coped very, very well. No goal chances really in the game. Just a sort of typical Saturday night National Football League game in tough conditions, and we've seen a lot of them. And look, considering, I suppose, the class levels and the players on show for Kerry Armagh, maybe it was a little bit disappointing we didn't get a bit more. But I think at the same time, you would look at either, there was so much on the line for either side, because for Kerry, if they had lost this, 3 defeats and 4, and they're staring down the barrel of a possible relegation battle. Whereas Armagh, you're looking at it now, and just 1 win in their opening 4. Could they maybe be in a bit of trouble? I still think they'll be okay. I think they played well tonight. To be honest, I think defensively to Amanda were very solid. Going forward, in tough conditions, their efficiency was there. Jason Duffy, I was impressed with. Rian O'Neill looked good. So I think they can hold their hats up high. I think it was just one of those cases where, Kerry just nicked it, and it really could have went either way. We'll run through the scores in total, and then we'll run through some comments there, because plenty of comments flying in. Darragh Roach so we'll run through the scores. Darragh Roach with a point, David Clifford with 4, Paudie Clifford with a point, Sean O'Shea with a point, Barry O'Sullivan, who I actually think was man of the match in my opinion. I thought he was outstanding in midfield for Kerry. I thought he had a really, really good game. Tyg Morley was very good as well. Paul Murphy with a point, Tyg Morley with a point. Tom O'Sullivan, actually, I thought was quite lively, and I thought he'd be another contender for man of the match. He was making a lot happen. He didn't score, but he was making a lot happen, in fairness. From Armagh, 3 points from Rian O'Neill, 1 from Stephen Campbell, 2 for Jardy O'Burns, a point for Aidan Forker in there at fullback as well. Conor Turba came off, got himself a point. Ethan Rafferty getting a point as well. And Tony Brosnan, actually, that late point in the end, that sensational late point from him turned out to be the winner. We'll just run through some comments here. Jack says, smash and grab, got a soft one when Foley called, went both ways. Typical boys, both teams get call against them. Look, I mean, you probably argue the case that Kerry got a few soft frees there towards the end, and probably more soft frees than Armagh. But look, I think home advantage makes a big difference in these games, because when there is a foul, you'll see the referee, or you'll see the fans go crazy, and it does play into the psyche of the referee, in my opinion. Niall Daly says, fair play to Armagh, played well. Yeah, look, they did play well. And I think at the same time, from an Armagh perspective, I think, I don't think there's too many negatives you take away from that. The only negative would be the fact that you lost the game. But I think generally Armagh played quite well, like defensively set up, kept Clifford scoreless from play, lost by a point by the narrowest of margins, and it was a tough game for them in tough conditions. And I think they can be happy with how they played. But I think the most important thing for Armagh will be to go out and win next week and start getting results on the board so that they don't, creep into a relegation battle. But I think one would say that, they played all right. Look, Kerry, didn't do a lot wrong either. Their shooting at times was a little bit poor, but in the end they won the game. So it didn't quite matter in the end. So yeah, there we have it. Kerry, 12 points to 11 points. The Kingdom run out winners in the end. Massive result for Kerry. Congratulations to them. I will clip this last part up here and put it out as a match reaction. So that'll be out a little bit later, as well as plenty more content to come. Of course, Mayo and Tyrone about to throw in a couple of minutes' time. So we'll definitely be watching that one as well. So yeah, big congratulations to the Kingdom. Big congratulations to Kerry. Massive result for them. Disappointing one from an Armagh perspective, but look, it was a game that really could have went either way, I felt. And look, fair play. Kerry get the win. 2 wins out of 2 from at home. Of course, 2 defeats away from home. And, good to see Paddy Clifford, Sean O'Shea back. And a big result. But certainly we'll have to work on their shooting a lot more. But you would say conditions, in fairness, were a little bit tough. Conditions were tough, so we'll let them away with that one. But yeah, cheers on anyone tuned in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.